Okay, so today we're looking at Lukas KRPALEK from the Czech Republic, Olympic champion under 100 kilo. Jorge FONSECA from Portugal, current under 100 kilo world champion. So we got like an Olympic champion and world champion in under 100s fighting today. This was in 2016 at Guadalajara World Masters.
Yeah.
And honestly, they've moved pretty damn fast at some points. Like,
I love him. Do you know him, Evo?
Fonseca, I've met him. He's a bit young. I'm a little bit older than I look. So he's a generation behind.
Oh, I think he's 29 or something now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in his mid-20s, and he missed. He had a kid at like 16, and he came back to judo at like 22.
Wow.
Like I think he missed cadets and juniors pretty much. Like I think he was on the path to be quite good, and then had to step away for whatever time, and then came back as a young senior and has hit the ground running. And
I love him. I love he leaves nothing on the mat.
Yeah, I think the way he fights is a real clear sign of him as a person. He's a little bit wild. His the fact that he fights hundreds and not 81s.
Yeah, definitely an anaerobic fighter rather than an aerobic fighter, let's say.
He throws it all out.
But like he literally, that's how he carries himself. Like he's like, I don't want to give him a comparison, but he'd be, if you want someone like a 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗏, like literally doesn't take anything seriously, but then will fight to the death when they say 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗏, and then the second they say 𝗦𝗢𝗏, it's back to party time, and he's an enigma, man. Like it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's really cool.
I think he's getting a little bit out-gripped here from KRPALEK, but it's funny that the Czech guy doesn't use his height that much. He likes to bend over, and I thought it was just interesting that he's not top gripping. He's going around the outside.
Well, Fonseca is quite dangerous if he takes a back grip underneath your arm. He's quite dangerous from there. So I think that's why KRPALEK wants to lock that that one side.
Yeah,
he's also a big problem if he gets two sleeves. He's very dangerous, especially for all sorts of.
Yeah.
So you'll see a little bit later on. KRPALEK does get a deep top grip, and kind of Fonseca starts to stand up, and it's a bit dicey. So KRPALEK does like a little 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓𝗔𝗟 kind of to actually get out of that situation.
Yeah. Fonseca's short for the division, but he fights within his body shape super well. So like his elbows are always tight. You can never, like, even when you top grip him, it's always from the side. Like you see KRPALEK's like grabbing sort of the tricep and then digging around the shoulder rather than going, from front on. Because if you lean over Fonseca's shoulder, like you said, Xav, he's under you for 𝗬𝗧𝗧 or 𝗠𝗘𝗧 every time. If you stay front on with him and you try and get over his shoulder, he's so dynamic and so quick, he just dives under. So he really uses that short stature well.
You see when he got off that throw there.
𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗏.
And that was pretty crazy.
Well, 100 kilo, for blokes at 100 kilo, that's some athleticism, that spin out in midair to get out of that 𝗦𝗧𝗧.
And he spun right out. Like it wasn't even a score, was it? He got right off?
Right. No, you're completely right off, yeah.
Wow.
Onto his belly, super rip-on.
There you go. He was copying Mark Anthony from last week.
Yeah, I mean, guys that fight off the double sleeve, they are a massive pain in the backside. Not many people do fight off double sleeves. It's
really hard to keep doing it continuously. Like, essentially, if you're going to sit on double sleeves, as soon as you get a forward movement, you're going 𝗠𝗘𝗏𝗧, one way or the other, and you're dropping that level. It is hard to do that for long fights consecutively in a day. So, because it's so hard to fight. People that do it well, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
If you control one of the sleeves, you've got a few options, but generally it's like a 50-50 double sleeve. It's like there's not that many options. It's a closed sort of game, really.
Goes back to those basic things. Like if you get a lapel and elbow, you can do 67 throws.
Yeah.
You move to double sleeves, you've suddenly got a much smaller toolkit.
Only got 2.
But what Fonseca's doing is going, if I can time it, if we've got sleeve grip each, and he's going to let go of his left hand and go deeper, that's my time to attack. And that's where he's coming across with that big wacky tatami almost Sode thing, and then the bear hug ones and the Marotte. I think most of them are happening as KRPALEK's going, cool, I've got my initial grip, I'm going to upgrade it, and Fonseca's going, bam, straight in there. And some attacks worked, some didn't, but he was timing that really well. That's too high.
Yeah. And there was another instance where Fonseca actually entered the exchange and got a back grip, and KRPALEK kind of also, did a soft 𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗥𝗖𝗑𝗦 kind of to get out of that situation. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, that's right. I think KRPALEK was probably even willing to take the Shido there, but he just went, I've got to bail. This isn't worth, because it's not, at that point, his judgment call is it's not a 50-50. Even though I've got my grip and he's got his is much better. I'm better off giving up a Shido than I am trying to stay here and likely getting counted.
I think that's something that if young judo players are watching, it's important to know that if someone's got an epic grip, take a Shido. Do you know what? Take 2.
Yeah, and especially if it doesn't count as a score.
Yeah.
If you can take 1 or 2, okay, I'm down 2 Shidos, but I got out of 2 attacks where I probably was going to get thrown. Hey, there's every chance I can score off this next one. But like you said, you live to fight another day. Is it nice? Is it pretty judo? Is it classical fight for Ippon judo? No. But it's fighting. Fonseca had one opportunity in that whole process, which was as he adjusts, and that's what he did. Every time he had that window, he took it, and he went, and he went, and he went.
And you don't really want to if you got 2 hands on, you don't want to let go against a guy like Fonseca.
You can't give him that window. Like, I can't this outside grip and go, all right, come across, we'll see what you can do, because he can do some pretty good stuff. Like,
he's a very good counterpuncher too, Fonseca. Like, not many people try Osoto on him anymore. He's got a great 𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗥𝗖𝗘𝗦.
Very 60 kilo. He doesn't he? Very like grip and go. No, it's true though. He's a guy that you need 2 hands on. If you let go, does he have a left COE?
Yeah, not as good off the lapel.
Because if he did, man.
His Sode to that side's really good.
Yeah.
His lapel COE is not as great. His Marotte to the right's amazing.
Yeah.
Because if he had a left COE, this match would have played out a lot different.
And
because KRPALEK wouldn't have put that left arm there at all. It would have just changed the dynamic again.
Yeah.
I really like the way that KRPALEK wins this fight. He kind of dominates the grips, very active with his hands, gets Fonseca to kind of drop into 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗔 just by being dominant with his hands. And then we know how dangerous KRPALEK is in 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗔.
That's I think the big thing is like KRPALEK for a heavyweight. He's one of the few heavyweights looking for 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗔.
He's amazing 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗔.
And this in particular, this turnover.
Matsumoto turn, right?
This is fundamental stuff, right? You teach every kid this. Yeah. And it just goes to show, like, for a kid, like, these are the 2 of the best players in the world, and it works.
Yeah. You kind of, it's not overly complicated. It's just done really well.
Yeah, which is like, as a Portuguese expat, like, my frustration at Fonseca not taking the 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗔 seriously, right? Like, you could see the exchange before that. I'm pretty sure it's right before that. He takes forever to put his belt on. He's trying to have a rest, have a break. He then gets dragged to the ground pretty easily. And as soon as he hits the ground, firstly, I think he goes to his stomach, which is the worst 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗔 defense you could ever have. Yeah. And then he pops his head up to look at the referee. And it's like, they're not going to call Mate immediately. And then KRPALEK pretty comfortably works his way underneath.
If you watched the Italia Grand Prix last year, this same turnover, this same first way you ever show kids to get get 1 leg out of 2, he used this 3 out of 4 fights to get 𝗦𝗢𝗦𝗢𝗦 for Ippon.
You could almost see Fonseca just like, I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get dragged to the floor.
So Fonseca should be pretty conscious of what's going to happen in 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗔, and that looking for the ref to bail you out, when like KRPALEK wasn't even really on him. They were separated. And Fonseca was flat on his stomach. He could have got to turtle, pulled guard, rolled to his side, done something. But he just waited going, I'm going to catch my breath, hope the referee bails me out. Then by the time KRPALEK got the jump on him, that's where he was pulling him off.
Too late.
No reaction. It was too late. Look at the size. It's like being held down by an octopus. Like, it's not going to happen. Like,
he went into that defensive position against one of the best 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗥𝗖𝗘𝗦 practitioners in the world.
Yeah. Like, you'd go top 5 easily in the whole world across all weight divisions is KRPALEK.
Yeah.
Like,
and you go on your stomach. And
for all we know, Fonseca does have a good 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗥𝗖𝗘𝗦 again. He's so comfortable and knows he can throw anyone. He's just like, this is where I rest before I throw the big giant guys. And it was a risk. I wouldn't say that his level wasn't there or that he's inferior in that way. But he definitely took a risk in the fight and wasn't paying. He wasn't focused. He wasn't engaged in the danger. You know what I mean? Like, when you're fighting, you want to play into your own strengths. And that's the number one most important priority, right? To win a fight, I need to do my things well. The second priority, which is just below it, is I need to stop that guy doing what he does well. Because
just being aware.
Yeah.
Being aware, yeah.
And for you, like it could be perceived as complacent or almost arrogant to go, I'm just going to chill out in this part of the fight until it just ends up back where I want it to be.
He's up by a Yuko, so he is pretty relaxed.
But I was going to say, if this is a pattern with Fonseca that he's constantly losing in 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗥, then it's something to address in training. But if it's a one-off thing, then we've all made mistakes, but the opponent just happened to have capitalized on it. It's kind of like in MMA. Whenever you see someone get knocked out, you're like, he's a professional fighter, his hands were down. I'm like, well, yeah, because when you get knocked out or you get armbarred, you've made a mistake. That's just part of the sport. You can't nitpick the guy's whole training based on that one thing. But if it's a pattern, then you go, okay, well, something's up. You got the other one where you got your certain athletes that train and drill a certain style of judo, and then come 𝗦𝗢𝗢𝗥𝗖𝗘𝗦, they're going, I'm going to try this. And you're like, whoa. You're in the coach's chair with smoke coming out of your ears going, why are we doing this? Like, you don't figure stuff out in the fight. You don't go, hey, I thought I'd try a left freaking 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗥𝗑𝗦, even though I've never practiced it, just for the sake of it, or a 𝗦𝗢𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, you know what I mean? Like,
those types of things you could try in randori. Like, if you're going to try something new, try randori. Randori is the place to try new things, not
nothing's at stake.
I think Evo said why, and that's the biggest one, is why. Like, 𝗦𝗏𝗏, I mean, he's one of the best ever, probably, and he just understands the why. He understands mechanics and movement. You got 𝗏𝗟𝒄, he has a throw in every direction. He understands the why. If you're going that way and I've got this attack. So rather than thinking do your athletes understand the why behind their 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗏𝗏, or their why behind their throws, or the why behind direction? There's no point knowing 40 different throws. The 40 different throws only work because of the direction and the scenario that they're designed for. And so it's all about the why, not about the reps and all the rest of it.
Exactly.
And even the gripping, like 𝗦𝗏𝗏 has 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗢𝗏𝗏, yes, but he does it from an outside grip, a top grip, a double lapel, a double armpit, a top grip armpit. So he actually has 8 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏𝗏s from 8 different grips. So grip, direction, and context of throw are 3 different discussions. They're not just
the main one.
all under 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏𝗏. It just becomes,
Yeah. So static 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏𝗏, I think we do a lot of it. I think it's a good learning tool, but I don't think we necessarily. I think we do too much of it. I think it's like overused. I think it's a lot more effective to do something like grip, move, attack, or like combination 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏, or like.
I won't use static 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 outside of the warm up. Like, it's literally a way to start getting everything moving in a movement pattern that somehow resembles what you're going to do later.
Yeah.
But in terms of, especially for a competition base, no, man. And even more so, 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 up and down the mat, right? How often in a competition does someone walk in time with you and lean up for every 𝗥𝗘𝗦𝗏𝗏𝗏 that you do? It doesn't happen.
You can do moving 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗧𝗧, but you at least create the movement.
Exactly. Use some 𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧, flick a lapel. There's ways of doing it.
Or something. Yeah.
I'm
going for a haircut on Monday. I'm booked in. Like that level of excitement I'm living in now that I'm looking for.
Yeah,
get him to sort that beard out too, Zay.
I'm going to shave it off on the weekend. Yeah.
Leave the mo. You should leave the mo, I think.
Just leave the mo?
Yeah.
Nah.
It's a little flavor saver down here.
Just leave that.
Yeah.
Or just leave that and take.
Just take it off.
I've done that before once. It was quite funny.
Oh.
Gotta have a laugh once in a while, right?
True. We have one every Thursday, Beats. Every Thursday, 8 o'clock.